How many people do we expect to be on this call?
Well,
Is there anybody who hasn't joined yet?
Yeah, most of our devs definitely, I believe. Probably Jay, Peter should as well. Maybe Vasil will know.
Okay.
And the 3 guys are in. Alesh should be connecting shortly.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Here he is. Let's give them maybe a minute or so.
No problem.
Vasil, do you know by any chance if Peter or anyone else from you guys will connect, or you are the one?
Peter is in another meeting, but I think he may join us later.
Okay.
As for the others, maybe Tony, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna call him, talk to him in a second.
Cool.
I believe there's gonna be so much knowledge. Again, it would be really good if you guys can be there as well. So I'm not sure if we would be able with Alesh to correctly transcribe it then later. So.
Wait, but I understood that these meetings should be more for developers.
Yeah,
that
that's
it should be like the previous session. So I think that without Jay and without
that's what I'm
Bernard
saying as
or
well.
something,
Yeah, totally.
it has no point to continue, and they accepted.
Yeah,
your.
I believe so.
So maybe try to ring them.
Let's
to invite them to the call, all of them. Oh, Bernard is clear.
Werner is here.
The others will join. The others will join in a minute.
There they are. Okay.
Just check. I went to check on Jay. They're just logging in now, and
I guess that should be it then. I don't know. Jakub probably not gonna join, and Borislav not sure, but that's majority is here now.
you got it. Okay. Martin's just joining. IT issues. Yeah, coming now. Hello. Hello, Martin.
This is very provocative. Are we in the right meeting? You guys.
I think you are. I don't
Well,
know. I don't know what to make of this now. So tell me, the title of the meeting says ONYX and MDR. So I don't know how much of ONYX we covered last time. So I just want to sort of check what our focus should be, whether it should be on ONYX in this session or MDR. So what do you know about ONYX so far? I don't know. The interested parties initially were supposed to be developers, correct?
Oh no. So we have to break down the knowledge transfer sessions a little bit more, and so the last time we met, at least the last time I was attending a meeting, he gave us a brief overview about ONYX, how it works in principle. He showed us the operating concept with all the interfaces and so on. So this was quite interesting. Of course, we need to double check how recent the documentation is, what is going to change, and what are your other clients doing. So we are a little bit equity front office centric, and do not know too much about other users of ONYX. And perhaps in subsequent sessions, we need to highlight a little bit on other aspects. So one aspect here right now could be, okay, so what's the development side of thing? Where are the source code to be found? What are the general procedures? What's the documentation you have on build process and whatever, and other, and then different audience, or of course everybody can join, but of course a different target audience would be, okay, how are those applications run day by day? What are the day-by-day tasks from the operations team? What are the regular tasks? And so this is needs to be broken down a little bit, so then we can have a list. Okay, we know about the application in principle, we know about the users, we know about the procedures, we have seen existing or non-existing documentation, and we know how the application is run and who is in charge and will be in charge. So that's it in a nutshell. I think that will keep us busy.
Very busy.
And we won't manage that in the next 22 minutes. I'm quite confident that we are not making it today.
I know.
Pierre Philip isn't there. It's because he's quite keen to this.
Is not here because it's not his business. Of course, he is free to join because. When we speak about future responsibilities, Pierre Philippe will be in charge for Scenario Manager and Indigo. And we thought, when we discussed about who will be in charge for the other topics, okay, then MDR, Data Loader, and ONYX will go to the EDT team. That was a quite naive approach, because we just right now learned that there's MDR yet, but there's an MDR ZRC, which is a 99% clone, and will keep us very nervous about how to fill and identify the 1% gap of the functional differences between them. We just discussed with Asif, are we really going to try anything to replicate everything we did just now for the Murex cache migration? Do we want to replicate that for MDR ZRC, or do we want to go into the direction of one single database in small steps, of course? So I caught Asif by surprise about this idea, and he's thinking about that. I think it's quite an interesting task, but we will end in a compromise. So we had an
an interesting point, that. Because originally we were going to try and move, for example, the Scenario Manager batches into MDR ZRC and actually turn them all off in MDR. But it sounds like it may be best to go the other way and move everything into MDR, because that's for a lot of things, that is the source of stuff. We copy stuff from MDR into MDR ZRC, for example.
So in which direction it might go, I don't care personally. So in the end, if there's only one survivor left, then it's good. If the complexity of merging the system is far bigger than the benefit out of it, then of course we will leave it. But right now we would do something I don't believe in it. So copying everything letter by letter and run it separately at the same time on a different server, to me it does not make any sense. Of course there were good reasons, so organizational reasons for doing that, they are now gone. Perhaps there are some technical reasons left for doing that. Let's focus on that. But so that's the reason Pierre-Philippe is not here. So in principle, we are not touching anything that should be Pierre-Philippe related. So I know he already chased you. To have other sessions, and so let's focus on the EDT point of things.
Okay.
And then perhaps we might have a joint session sooner or later again.
Okay.
So Joe, it's now up to you. Or let's ask Alan or Alesh. Do you have another opinion? Do you want to go in a certain direction? What you always wanted to know, or Jay?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Everything
If nobody
code.
says anything, then it's up to John. To Joe.
Yeah. So I've invited Martin because anything to do with the source code, etc. Martin can answer any question. The development environment, etc. He'll be able to sort of answer your questions around ONYX. Maybe Martin, you can kick off by maybe showing them where the source for ONYX is, for example.
Okay, let's do that. Let's share the screen and show you where the source is. Right, so the source code for ONYX, everything ONYX, is in Bitbucket in projects ONYX. So you've got this ISIS gas. This is the one where we're getting prices from ISIS. It's just a couple of gas prices. Not very interesting and very peripheral, to be quite honest. MDR is the market data repository. We all know about that. That's the MDR. The MDR.
Will the ISIS stuff survive the works migration?
Well, that's a really good question because it's for commodities.
Yes, I can see it surviving because I posed that question to Manuel in the last meeting, and going forward, post Murex Cache migration, they intend to come to ONYX and depend upon ONYX to get fixings still. So yeah, ONYX will be their source for fixings.
Good.
Okay. So MDR I'm not going to bother with because we all know what that is, and same with the MDR XL add-in. The probably the crucial bit is this code here. So there's the ONYX system. This is what you put onto the servers. It's what farms the service out to everyone, and it's what the client uses to connect. All the code is there. Actually, oh sorry. I'll start again. It's actually all here. Right, so in the early days, the code was duplicated across these two, but I've only ever updated this one. So the ONYX server's running on this code here. The ONYX feeder, I think.
Excuse me, I think this is quite important for me. So ONYX EDT, the EDT version of ONYX. Hopefully this is nothing that is active anymore.
That's correct.
So we have only one single one, and that's the IT version of ONYX.
That's that. Yes, that's this one.
That's an achievement. That's okay. Good.
Yep.
I don't know. Joe was going to say something there. I don't know if he's going to say something.
Oh yeah. Basically, I just wanted to sort of tie in or jump in and just sort of clarify one thing. What Martin is pointing to there basically is a service. Yeah. So that EDT, ONYX EDT, is a service which runs on the ONYX server, which sort of allows people to connect to ONYX. Yeah. I'll sort of maybe.
Yeah, it's a service that the ONYX client. So the ONYX client is used by the Excel ONYX Excel add-in. It's used it can be imported, used in as a DLL in C# code, and it's also used in the ONYX Data Explorer, which is the thing that you can view ONYX data with. Which are you familiar with or not? You are, aren't you?
I haven't seen something like that. The only thing I can see in the app bar, it's ONYX with nothing.
Okay, let me just start that up and show you that. The ONYX Explorer, by the way, is part of the ONYX overall code here still. So while that's starting up, I'll just go in there and say within here there's the subsections. You've got the ONYX Excel spreadsheet is this one, and Data Explorer is this one. A lot of the other stuff is actually all part of this project. They're just sub-projects which go into this. Right, the Explorer has it started up?
I forget about that. ONYX Explorer is that what everybody else knows as ONYX. And
it's this thing.
I've opened it up and then it appears. It's a Data Explorer. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were familiar with that.
Yeah. Okay. So and it just gets assets like this. Whoops. Like that. Okay. So you know it. I'll get rid of that. Okay. So let's just go back. So the ONYX MX feed, that's this PowerShell script that says here was written by myself, and it's used by commodities to get price to ask for prices from ONYX and then send them in a file to a share. It's a really simplistic program, and we're waiting for them to take it over completely, so that should pass out of our responsibility. But you won't believe it, they're saying they haven't got a Windows server, which is why they can't take it over, despite the huge amount of money that commodities has.
Sorry to interrupt. So if we start again, because I'm a bit, it's probably quite a lot of information. I'm looking from if you take it top down. So we have ICIS gas.
Yeah.
So is this? If we start with that, so is this actively used right now in production? If so, is it a service, a GUI? Can we get access to it? I mean, and these are all kind of things. If we have to maintain things like this,
that top one isn't actually used. It was experimental code. It's the second one. This one is used.
Okay.
And this just goes to the ISIS website and it gets some gas prices.
Is it run through data loader or something then? Is it XE or how's it run?
It's run. I think it's run from. It's an XE. It's run from UC4, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. So it's scheduled by UC4. Scheduled by UC4 to sort of go to ISIS to extract those natural gas prices which we couldn't get from Bloomberg. So in their wisdom, the traders, the commodity traders, identified ISIS to be the data source for that. They didn't want to sort of get it from anywhere else. They insisted, so we had to sort of create a brand new interface to ONYX from ISIS.
It's a standalone app that does this, and it puts the prices into a flat file, and that file is a generic interface for ONYX, and it's loaded into ONYX. So there's two things, right? This app gets the prices into a flat file, and then the next stage is for that flat file to be imported into ONYX.
Perfect. I'll have further questions. I'll send an email after, like, for example, what are the UC4 jobs? I mean, can we see them? I mean, I'll have some questions after. That's fine. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. So that was the first one. MDR, I think we're happy with.
Can we go into it anyway, just for my own sanity? Because I don't even have access to this. I've just checked. I don't have access to the ONYX Bitbucket code. I've never seen this before, any of this stuff.
Okay, this one I haven't myself had anything to do with. but it's the MDR and Couchbase service, which I think is used by the traders' spreadsheets.
So this is, it looks like your MDR service. Okay, so this must
Yeah.
be the service to all the clients that run from the Excel. So
Yeah.
this must hold all the market data, I guess, in cache somehow. It looks like.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
from Couchbase. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, all right, understood. Okay.
Right. Then next one that's important. Oh, well, MDR Excel add-in. I think we're happy with that, surely.
So that's just the. So this is that. Oh,
Yeah.
You've now packaged this anyway, haven't you? So it's on.
Yeah, it's packaged
software
into.
center.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, for those who don't know, basically it just enables users to use Excel and interrogate MDR, making some function calls in order to sort of grab information from ONYX.
Okay.
Now,
So the EDT version of ONYX, what was that again? So that was quite a large project. Well, which ones are we interested in this?
we're not interested in that one now. We're interested in the GSIT because
It's dead.
we have ownership of ONYX and the server.
Okay.
And so originally it was developed by EDT
Mhm.
or some contractors that worked for EDT.
Mhm.
And then it was passed over to us. So this is why there's two of them. This was the one they originally used. For a while, we maintained both versions, but that was stopped several years ago. And now this is the only version that is maintained. And in here is the latest release of the ONYX service.
ONYX service. And how does this all? So this is it. It's
And that
cache-
run, yeah, this also uses Couchbase.
Okay.
It's basically the same as the MDR in that respect. It's basically something that caches all the data from the database for quick access, and the service runs on. I think it's both of the ONYX
5 load balancing. So there are two
Yeah.
servers in production which are used to sort of load the information for ONYX. So whenever somebody is running a query against ONYX, either by GUI or by Excel, a spreadsheet or compliance systems which connect to ONYX via the API, basically you are reading information from cache,
Mhm.
which is the Couchbase, cache.
So this is only encompassing the service. It doesn't encompass the GUI or anything else because it's got Excel written in there. So this has everything in this one.
It's got
solution.
within this solution, it's
can
got
see-
the Excel add-in, which
Okay.
is here, and it's also got the. It's also. It has the service itself, but it's also got in here.
Oh wow. Okay. So you have a different solution for different ones. It looks like at the bottom. So you have the client as well as a solution,
Yeah.
which I guess is the GUI.
No, the client is the DLL. So
Ah.
what this actually does is it so this lot compiles together for two reasons, if you like. One is to produce the service, which does
Mhm.
the Couchbase stuff
Mhm.
and presents the data, and then the client is the thing that the data is drawn out through, if you like. So when you build a C# project, you include the ONYX client DLL,
Understood.
and then you make the calls to it, and that Scenario Manager does that. Lots of projects actually, well, say lots. Scenario Manager is one that I know that does it, which is why Pierre's possible involvement is of some interest. Not well, for him it might be interesting. So basically ONYX client, that's important. This one's the service, this
Mhm.
one's the client, this one is the ONYX Explorer, and this one is the Excel, and they're the 4 things that count. The rest of them are all just contributing projects or testing projects.
Perfect.
I mean,
Now
the
that-
common is common. Unit tests. It's
So the only other, I guess, plausible question I had is, let's say if I need to do a new ONYX release, have you got any documentation or process on how to release this stuff? I mean, how would you release this stuff?
it's all a bit ad hoc, to be quite honest. So what you do is get the code out of Bitbucket,
Uh-huh.
build it, making sure you've got the various NuGet packages that are required,
Mhm.
and then you would I would build it on my machine. I would test it on my machine, and then we would release it to a UAT server, where it would be then tested.
And you're basically
get
coming.
access to the UAT server.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Sorry,
Access to the UAT server.
is we have it on this machine here.
I guess there's a few things. That's a valid question. So we need access to the Bitbucket page, the UAT boxes, the explorers if we don't have it. So these are all things we need access to, really. Any file locations.
Yeah.
But it kind of leads me to a good other question is.
So this is quite interesting because this is the UAT version of it, and I've just got to think. Right. So and this, I mean, obviously we'll go through all this again and in more detail. This is just a summary really of how it is. So the ONYX service is actually on the production server. It's in this directory. For UAT, for some reason when they developed it, they put it into a subdirectory called this. I guess it's to differentiate it from the production directory. And this is what the ONYX service looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Couchbase DLL. And so you have to have Couchbase installed on the machine as well.
Okay.
Now I can also show you, because of a couple of other things you were concerned about. One is the ONYX MX feed. This is this PowerShell script that I was talking about. And I think if I edit this, this is really the PowerShell script. It's not very many lines, and that's all it is. And it basically it just goes to. So this is actually perhaps interesting, if I can find the bit. So here, for example, it uses the ONYX client DLL and loads a price. That's load values loading a price from ONYX. That's all it does. That one line of code is all that's important. The rest of it is just, getting the columns and the files that have the request information in them, presenting it to this. This brings back the values, and then it's saved into a file. That's probably the simplest example of how you could get a value out of ONYX programmatically.
Okay.
If that's good.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And that now. Joe, yes, and the other big one is price series.
Yeah.
So price series is the way we get all the prices into ONYX from Bloomberg and other suppliers like Argus. And it's quite a complicated program, and it has many variants that run in UC4. So there's probably hundreds of UC4 jobs, but they all. Basically, at the end of the day, they either request a range of assets or an asset from Bloomberg or from Platts, and this information is directly loaded into ONYX through this application called Price Series. And if that is probably the important aspects of ONYX, I think. Is that right, Joe? I mean, we've covered price series, we've covered the new two apps, ISIS Gas, which are fairly recent ones actually, and Tony's Murex feed of ONYX.
Yeah.
It leads me to another question. You said that you test ONYX locally on your machine. How would you do that? Would you can you run the service locally on your machine pointing to the UAT database?
Yeah. So sometimes I would run up an ONYX service on my machine, and then I would use something like Price Series to run a test against it. So I'd run up Price Series and load some prices.
Price series we haven't covered. So is that also part of this ONYX solution?
It's the most important. It's the most important application actually, which is used for downloading fixings from external service providers. So and it also exists as a GUI we've got a GUI for it as well, where, for example, if a trader says, "Hey guys, that price you got from Bloomberg yesterday was not actually accurate. Can you get me the latest price, etc." So we have the ability to use the price series GUI, not the ONYX Explorer you saw, but price series GUI. Let me maybe I can just quickly bring it up just to show you what it looks like.
So just a quick question then. This is quite a valid one. Is price series in-house built or is it a third-party tool?
In-house.
It's in-house. Okay, fine. So there'll be a separate solution for price series, I guess then.
There is. It's in the ONYX. That in the
in the same area. Okay,
yeah.
Fine. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in that big bucket page. Okay, fine.
Yeah, there is. So there's price series MDR, ONYX.
Yep.
Kind of got a diagram somewhere, Joe, haven't we, of all the inputs to ONYX?
Yeah, I'll just bring it up. Let me.
And then how do you deal with the licensing then? Obviously, if you're getting live prices and fixings from outside and external sources, is there a yearly subscription cost that's organised, or who looks after all that stuff from a cost perspective?
So we have the market data team. There's a market data services team which takes care of all the licenses, etc.
Okay.
Let me. So yeah, they take care of all the licenses. Although it's very worth noting that nearly every year, unfortunately, we've been caught out where they haven't actually renewed or
I could imagine so.
pay the license. So we just end up in the morning, you find nothing has been loaded, and you ring up Bloomberg or Platts. They say, "Oh, sorry, your license has been revoked because you haven't paid the money." So we are, we have to chase the market data team to make them pay, basically.
Sure. Understood.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up. I'll just quickly share my screen just to show you the. I think it's screen 2. Okay, yeah. I think I showed the last presentation. In the last presentation, I quickly sort of showed you, the interfaces to ONYX, so that you have an idea of who uses ONYX, and so basically these are incoming feeds. Currently, the majority, 98% of the feeds come from Bloomberg. That's where we get the fixings from. Again, we use price series, yeah. So it's price series which is responsible. The jobs are scheduled in UC4 mainly, yeah. So we define our batches in UC4. They go to, run at different times, depending upon, when the prices are available. Yeah. So we go to places like Bloomberg or Platts or Argus Media for core. We get core prices from here. Here we get distillates, mainly for the commodity traders, and the majority of all the other stuff comes from Bloomberg. So this needs to be updated because now we have introduced a new interface here to ISIS, yeah, because ISIS gas only went live a couple months ago. So this diagram needs to be updated to include ISIS here, because we get natural gas, from them. So
is it for real bi-directional connections between Bloomberg, Platts, and Argus Media, or is it?
It's
a drawing error.
Well, you can argue because we ONYX sends a request, for example, to Bloomberg, yeah. So we do send a request file to Bloomberg, and Bloomberg responds by sending us files back. So it is a bi-direction, if you like.
Oh, okay. No, I think this is a standard way. Commerzbank does not accept any incoming connections, only if they were established from ourselves. So that's the trend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so we are the ones who initiate
communicating actively with Bloomberg, but we are not sending them data they are publishing.
No.
So
that's okay. So we just send a request file to them, and they respond by sending us response files, basically, which reside in a folder. So
next question, just while you're there, very quick one.
Okay.
So the UC4 scripts you talked about.
Yeah.
I guess you maintain. Do we have are they stored somewhere? Can we see them? Who has access? All this sort of stuff.
Yeah. So UC4, the UC4 scripts reside on the production servers. You know, ONYX production servers on the D drive under D apps or whatever. I can show you quickly. Actually, there
You should
you
put that
go.
in Bitbucket then, I guess. But okay, that's good.
Here we go. Yeah. In fact, just to sort of consolidate what Martin had said, I've just logged on to one of the production boxes, which is this one here. You know, this is a production ONYX box, and that service Martin was talking about, which exposes ONYX to the outside world so that people can connect to it. Yeah, this allows you the connection, so it runs as a service, and the name is called edt.onyx. Yeah, using our technical account, and this price series service here, which is the other service which is running on the box. This is the one which allows the GUI, you know, the price series GUI to sort of connect to the.
So is that purely for the price? Is that purely for your GUI to connect?
Yes. Yeah.
And nobody else can use that, really?
And yes, yeah. Okay. And this is the GUI, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This little window I've just opened here is the GUI, which allows us to sort of request fixings as, you know, when we want them. You can specify the date. For example, if I want to get, you know, Barclay fixings, you know, for 2019, you know, I've just put in the dates here. I click what I want to get, you know, and
are you getting live data for this?
No.
Is it delay feed?
We have a delayed license for Bloomberg. Okay. However, at different times of the day, especially for the commodity guys, we do snap some fixings at, you know, specified times. For example, you know, 2:30 London time, you know, 4 o'clock. They might want, you know, just to get us, you know, what the price was, you know, at 14:30 or 1 o'clock. So, you know, we go to ONYX and get those fixings. Just to show you, for example, let me just bring up in the GUI here under FXR fixing. Here's a typical example. If I bring the rate first, so euro, for example, euro currency, where are you? Here you are. So a typical example, we get the euro rates, and we load them in the closed series in ONYX. Yeah, ONYX has different series, so basically they're different series for different purposes, which they use to value their portfolios at different times, if you like, because there might be a trader who wants to sort of value his positions using the 1 o'clock fixings or 3 o'clock fixings or 4:30 fixings. So ONYX, you know, will sort of take care of that by going to go and get the various fixings at various times.
So that basically means that you have one fixing per date stamp, right? 4 timestamps, sorry. So at 1 o'clock there'll be one fixing, the PV back, or is it a series that you'll get back, or multiple?
So we get the whole series basically.
Fine.
For each each day, basically. You know, as you can see, this is a curve. This is a historical curve, yeah. So on the 27th, so each day we get a 1300 fixing, if you like, and it also there's what we call targeting in ONYX, because, for example, the 1500 or the 1300 is actually not sourced directly, you know, from Bloomberg using this. There's a fixing ticker here, which we use in order to target. Yeah. So for example, if I open this one, for example, this is the 430. So we use the 430 fixing in ONYX, in Bloomberg, to target the euro currency 1630 series. So basically, this is the ticker which Bloomberg recognizes. So we get this. Actually, this L stands for London, and this stands for the time, 1630, if you like. So this is a 1630 fixing for the euro currency. So, but the traders want it in a different series, not the closed series, but the 1630 series. Hence here the target series is called 1630.
They like to have everything in
Exactly.
in one asset, but under different series. Whereas in the world of ONYX, in the world of Bloomberg, they have different series for these things.
Yeah. So when we get this currency,
different
we
tickers,
actually, we load it into the euro currency and invert it. Basically, this means invert. Basically, So whatever we get is inverted. As you can see here, the actual currency is in euro because this is against USD. So if I go to euro again.
So
the
for example, they'll go.
Here we go. So here's the 1630. It's inverted. That value, the 1 point whatever, is inverted because we specified the inverting only. Yeah.
So they basically would have a Bloomberg ticker that they have in Excel. They say they want the time series for this Bloomberg ticker. It will
Correct.
go to a predefined one that you've defined here on what that timestamp would be throughout the day, and then they will get the fixings according to the time decided by them, I guess, and then you basically make the changes here.
Correct.
If it's at 1630, or they might want it at 1600, you would change it here directly.
No, if we're going to introduce a new series, So the 1630 is actually a series in ONYX as far as ONYX is concerned. It's a series. The 1600 is a different series. The 1500 is a different series. So, it means there must be somebody out there who is interested in valuing their positions using the 1500 series and another position at 1630, etc., etc. Hence, all these times. And
I guess my question is, why do you? Who defines how you link your ticker to the time series? So, like, if you're doing euro currency, you said it was at 1430.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 1630. Who chooses to do that? Is it the traders?
So the traders give us a heads up, basically. For example, when they wanted us to snap the euro at 1630, they did actually manage to find it in Bloomberg. Let me just bring up my Bloomberg screen, which is here. Yeah, this is the Bloomberg screen, basically. So
do we need access to Bloomberg is another question.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody who's going to go forward and support this will need access to Bloomberg. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we go. Euro.
So the ticker names you see in ONYX reflect the Bloomberg names.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the asset table, there's like Diva code, Bloomberg, Murex ID.
Yep.
But for some reason, Bloomberg is very much, or should say ONYX is very much Bloomberg concentric. So the thing you can key it by other things like Murex ID, but the main one we use is the Bloomberg because it's the most common source of our data.
Sure.
And actually, there is something slightly confusing in that screen that Joe's just showing you. The Data Explorer, you have fields called Bloomberg, but they're not actually Bloomberg. It's confusing. When Joe goes back to Data Explorer,
sorry. Let me.
I was just explaining about the weird name of these series. So they should be called.
Oh, right. Okay. Let me go. You want me to go to Euro? Let me go.
Well,
to
it doesn't matter really. You've got it on the screen there. But basically, you've got. Yeah. Okay. Go. See.
Here's a euro currency.
So what you've got is you've got source and it's Bloomberg and Bloomberg CD on there, but they're not necessarily Bloomberg sources, if that makes sense. It's just what the field's called.
But this is probably going into even more detail now. So obviously,
but
it's good though because it's
don't blow
it's a bit confusing. Yeah, no, but it's a bit confusing when you look at a spreadsheet request. So if you just get a spreadsheet and you just want to get a price, you use the ONYX add-in, and you'll see that you put Bloomberg in, even if the asset comes from, say, Platts. That's all I'm trying to say. So one example is Platts.
Even though the source
Joe
is
could
Platts.
show you a Platts one.
Right.
These fields here, the source fields, always are Bloomberg.
Oh yeah. That's a good point, Martin.
It's a wrong name of them. It really should be called I don't know, data and data CD or something.
Oh yeah, or asset name or whatever, or asset code or something like that.
Yeah,
so instead of calling it asset code, it's just somebody who developed this system just called it Bloomberg. So that's a code we use for asset code, if you like.
So why Bloomberg and Bloomberg CD?
Okay,
Why not
so
just
the CD stands for continuous data curve. Yeah, it's a continuous series. So take an example where there was a bank holiday, on a given date, and Bloomberg didn't publish the price. Yeah.
Okay.
However, for the purpose of computing the risk and prices, etc., you want to value, you want your risk to be computed, whether there was a break or not, whether there was a bank holiday or whatever. Yeah. So they will use the continuous series, which all it does, it rolls the last available price into the series. Yeah. So if there's a bank holiday, say, on Christmas Day, and Christmas Day fell on a business day, and it was a bank holiday in Bloomberg, so Bloomberg didn't publish a price for that. What Bloomberg, the Bloomberg series will have a break. Yeah, there'll be no fixing, because the Bloomberg, where it says Bloomberg source, it will just reflect what Bloomberg has. However, Commerzbank wants a continuous curve, if you like, so it will just roll the price which was available before that holiday into the continuous curve. Yeah,
it fills
it's
gaps
just
on
filling up
Monday
the
to
gap.
Friday, effectively.
Yeah.
Some actually does fill gaps 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And that other one, Commerzbank CD, is a series that the traders can actually change the prices in. That's why it's called Commerzbank. So, for example, they may not agree with the way Bloomberg derived the prices, and they want to derive them in a different way. They would update and change the price there.
Correct.
No, it's got nothing to do with Bloomberg.
Internal.
It's
calculation.
internal, but it could be, depending on how the trade is defined. The trade might read Bloomberg CD, or it might read the Commerzbank CD series. But again, that's all trader driven.
Understood.
Yep. Take example. Let me just give you an example. A quick example. I think December was an interesting month.
I think we had an example just recently when we were not happy, or our traders were not happy with the published price coming from Bloomberg.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at the December calendar to see where the bank holiday fell. Yeah. So look at this. Where is December 2nd, and then December, when was Christmas? Did Christmas fall 25th? 25th was a Wednesday. Oh, sorry, this is 2023. I want 2022.
Yeah, it should cover it, because it's going from 01.
It doesn't matter too much. This to get an example. I mean, basically, for where there's bank holidays in certain countries, you won't get a price.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But Bloomberg CDs just rolled the last price. So say bank holiday was on Friday, it would roll Thursday's price into Friday.
Yeah. So honestly, in this very example, basically, Barclay, LN Equity, this is the Barclay shares, basically. There was no price which was published on the first of May. Yeah. So if I look up in ONYX, Barclay, LN Equity, the close series of the Bloomberg series. Yeah. So May. Yeah, as you can see, can you see here? There was nothing for the 1st of May. Yeah.
Bloomberg.
In the Bloomberg, in the Bloomberg series, there was nothing that we didn't. From 28th of April, it jumped, to 2nd of May. So the 1st of May, there was nothing because it was a bank holiday. So what should we expect in the CD series, Bloomberg CD and Commerzbank CD? We should expect this price, which was available on the 28th of April, to be rolled into the 1st of May. So let's go and check that. So if I go to Bloomberg CD here, There you go. Yeah, 1st of May we have a price, and
that's June. But
sorry.
Okay, there, 1st of May.
Yeah, 1st of May. It's a road price from road from April. Same with Commerzbank City. It will have the same. Yeah.
The reason for that is because some of the trades don't know about bank holidays and they expect to see a price every day.
Exactly.
And you could argue that it's bad trade XML, because if they were a well-written trade, they would know that there were bank holidays on their assets. It's probably too complicated to do that.
So that's the purpose of those sources, if you like. And most of I would say 99% of the computation, for PV, and risk that we compute for commodities business, they tend to use the closed series. Yeah, they use the closed series, and they tend to use the Bloomberg series for their historical simulation calculation. In some cases, for some of the intraday batches, they might use the high and the low price. Yeah, but we do get them as well when they're available, say in Bloomberg. So apart from the closing, the closing actually happens to be the mid price, if you like, but we also get the high and the low price for a given asset on a given day.
All basically ONYX does is it provides the price data of any ticker for any specific defined time.
Correct.
16, 30, any time. So they might want to trade or see the future or the past. They can get all the data from ONYX in their own way. And then they can decide how they want to price their trades going forward. Can they also get future prices or predicted prices? Nothing like that.
No.
I guess they wouldn't. This is only
This is actually strictly for historic prices.
Historical live. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, interesting. This is the central point, basically. This is how they do all their work, really.
Correct. And so Jay, you had mentioned where exactly were the BAT files kept, so I'll just show you quickly.
That would be useful as well.
Because
I know that we used to work with EVFP back when I was there, and we were working with UC4, and I hated it because we had to define our scripts ourselves. But
I don't like it either.
We couldn't test, so we had to get the other guys to test it. But it took a week for them to test anything.
Correct.
So I did not like using UC4. So we came away from it completely. We just stopped using it.
Yeah, it was a good idea. It's a lot of work, basically. So.
Before we move on to the technical aspects, there's one question. It's an easy question, but I think that's not so easy to answer. Who is using what data? Do you know? So you have plenty of time series. I would like to know, do you have an overview which time series was requested by who?
No. We don't have that information at all. I remember the closest somebody got to getting that information was when a team came up who were supposed to be rewriting MDR Plus, which was supposed to take over from ONYX. There's a team which came from Frankfurt, and they were looking around ONYX, and they put some sniffers basically to sort of interrogate the logs to find out exactly who was using what data. Unfortunately, when they did that, they ground ONYX were hot, so we told them to shut their sniffers down. And, so up to now, basically, we don't know who uses what.
Okay.
Yeah, because as from the diagram, from this diagram here, as you can see, there's quite a lot of applications that come around. For example, we know Clive uses data from ONYX, Pipeline, EVF. Prodigy, Scenario Manager, Front Office, Indigo, blah, blah, blah. So, and then you have Excel spreadsheets from various traders, who use, who come and grab the data from ONYX as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So the those BAT files which UC4 runs in order to sort of request for data, say from Bloomberg and Platts and Argus Media, etc., reside in this folder D under the apps price series. So, if I sort this by type, you shall find, to start with, the EXEs are here. All the EXEs are in this very folder. So this is the binary directory, if you like, and in here the majority of the .bat files will be in it. Here we go. Yeah, so they're here. You should notice that a lot of the bat files are accompanied by, equivalent .txt files, for example. Why? Because the times when, market data sourcing or fixing sourcing is done by category in ONYX. What I mean by category is it's just a grouping in ONYX. So for example, under ONYX, so here under ONYX, you have different groups. The data is grouped in different groups. Yeah, so you've got securities, you got this is now kind of invalid, really. We don't use that but the majority of the data is either FXR, yeah, which is currencies and fixing, exchange rates, or cross currencies. Yeah, securities in here, funds, I've got their own node in there. So under securities, for example, we have again another grouping, and the majority of these groups are sort of done by either the country. Yeah, for example, for equities, we tried as much as possible to group them, by their country code. Yeah. The reason for that was that it would sort of make it easier. For example, if we wanted to load fixings, say from Indonesia, we know the Indonesian market closes, say at 3 o'clock early in the morning, London time, whatever. Then we can schedule our jobs in UC4 to go and get those fixings per category. Yeah. So those text files in here, might sort of just the bat file will reference the text file. Yeah. And in the text file, you put your category, you want to include in the request, in the data request, etc. So hence, the accompanying of,
look
for
at
example,
the main
if
loading one or something.
if I take this, for example, Japanese equities, for example, yeah. If I open this one here, so all this one has is JP equity. So basically, what it's trying to do there is load all the fixings. It's going to request all fixings which come under JP, which is Japanese stuff, and JP happens to be
what that
somewhere
does,
here.
price series reads the category, or it sees the category in that text file, and it will then go to ONYX and it will get everything in that category, as Joe's just shown you, and it will do a request for each one of those closing prices to Bloomberg.
So under JP,
so it saves you having to do individual
you have
assets.
all these equities, so their prices will be gotten at that specified time. In fact, if I just
and for Werner's information, we've got no idea if any of those are needed, those assets.
Exactly, there's quite a lot of assets.
Work that he's doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of assets there.
It's loading about 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So under this is our data loader, by the way, yeah, which is our dashboard, if you like, where we sort of monitor. So under security, if you like, in here, and items to load. So for this morning, for example, we loaded. Let's see. Let me see an example. Yeah. So
that tells you the name of the file used.
On the command, basically. So this is a command line which UC4 executed. So this is a command line found in the bat file, if you like, for this particular job, for example. So it was calling this load closing prices, which is an exe. Yeah. And the pass parameters here, ZenoDB, again, the name Zeno is a legacy thing because ONYX used to be called Zeno ages ago. It was cloned from a third-party application which was called Xenomorph, hence that. But so ZenoDB just tells it what sort of what group do you want me to load the prices in. So this is security, yeah, which means it's for this, yes, the security. Remember I showed you the groupings. So that's in the security group. And current ticks force means don't don't get don't get today's prices basically.
Well, that ticks thing is more for FX currencies.
FX, you're right, yeah.
But what it does is it'll actually get every single new price. So every few seconds there'll be new price. And it'll just get a massive file of all the prices throughout the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's used